let's graph this red equation up here. The first thing we do is graph the base graph, which is log base 2 of x, which is going to go through 1, 0, and it's going to approach that way, and it's going to approach down this way. All right. Now we're going to take that, and with our red graph, we're going to do that moves it. Which way? Which way does that move it if you have a +1? Nope, because you're inside with the x.
Oh, so it's down 1?
Nope, because you're in with the x, so it'll be left or right.
I took it out of x, so I ran out of battery.
That's right. That moves it left 1, and where does that move it?
Up 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I take this point, I move it up 2, and left 1. I take so there's my point. I'll erase this. There's that point, and every other point does the same, and so does the vertical asymptote. Your vertical asymptote moves left 1. So your graph will be like this.
See, this guy likes me.
That's your graph. That red graph.
See?
And to check it, to make sure, plug in a couple points. Do a little XY chart to make sure it's right. If I plug in a point over here like 5.
How do you find that parent function again? You know what I'm saying?
The parent function, how do you find the parent function? You just look at your base graph. That's your parent function. Log base 2 of x.
And you said that equal to y?
Yes, that's y equals log base 2 of x. And you kind of have to have those memorized.
Yeah.
You should have all of your base graphs memorized. You've got log, draw some more in here. Well, let's just use log your y equals 2 to the x. That's an exponential. It goes through 0, 1, and it looks like that. Log equals, y equals log base 2 of x is just that same graph, but it's flipped over the line y equals x. And then other things as well. Now, if you had y equals 1/2 to the x, that's different because that's less than 1. If your base is less than 1, between 0 and 1, then the graph gets flipped this way. That's that graph right there.
Okay.
And same with this. If you had a 1/2 log base 1/2, it'd be flipped upside down like that. Anyway, you have to know your base graphs. And when you know if memorize your base graphs, look for them. There's other videos that you can watch that I'll post them on here as well.
All right, sweet.
But you want to memorize your base graphs and then learn how to shift them with these. The trick really comes in when you're flipping. When you're flipping or multiplying, like stretching or compressing, that's where it gets a little bit trickier. And you always want to check. Like I said, plug in a value. I'm actually going to choose the value 3 here to plug in. And the reason I'm choosing 3 is because 3 plus 1 is 4, which is the power of 2.
Yep.
So that's 2 plus 2, which is 4. So 3, 4 is a point. 3, 4, that's about right. Might not be exact because maybe I didn't draw my graph exact. Then try another point. Let's try 0. When I plug in 0 for x, what's the log base 2? What's 2 plus the log base 2 of 1?
4.
What's the log base 2 of 1? 2 to what power equals 1?
Equals 1.
That's 0.
0.
So this is just 2. So that's just 2. 0, 2. Oh yeah, of course, 0, 2. Yeah, that's right, because that's the point that I had that I moved from.
Yeah.
How about what happens if you plug in a -2? What would happen?
-2.
It better not work, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't because,
And let's plug in a -2, and I would get a what?
get something messed up and undivided.
That's right. I get log base 2 of a -1, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
So this is undefined. Yep, exactly. So the domain, now we can talk about the domain. The domain of this graph, let me go ahead and erase this one. The domain of that graph is from -1, So it starts at that dotted line, but not including it. All the way to infinity is the domain.
Yeah.
And the range is from negative infinity to infinity. It's all real numbers. Because that's going to touch it. If I do a little horizontal line scan, it's going to touch it all the way up. There's always going to be a point defined, a y value defined.
For the range, you start down and you go up.
That's right. For the range, I always scan horizontal lines, and I see, am I touching the graph? Yes, 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 yes. For the domain, I'm scanning from the left to the right. Am I touching? No, 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 no. Right there, yes, 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 yes. That's your domain.